Welcome to Retirement with Rick. I'm your host, Rick Rodriguez, SVP and Retirement Mortgage Specialist at VIP Mortgage. Today on the show, I have the pleasure to introduce Cheri Foisy from Signature Real Estate. For 25 years, Cheri has been a licensed real estate agent in Las Vegas, helping clients navigate the local market. She previously worked in banking as a retirement plans administrator, compliance officer, and branch manager. She also held her New Jersey life insurance license to sell tax-deferred annuities. Her goal is committed to surpass her clients' needs, expectations, and create a pleasant home buying or selling experience. She has built her business on referrals, and she's always willing to provide you with an honest consultation. Welcome to the show, Cheri.
Thank you, Rick.
So obviously you've been in the industry for a bit. What inspired you to get into real estate?
Actually, I was a new home model junkie.
Okay.
I moved here from New Jersey. My kids were 5 and 3.
Okay.
And we bought a new home at that time. We had it built, and I just wanted to go out and see if we got the best deal. Is this neighborhood better?
Sure.
How did they decorate this? And my kids, they would get so mad at me. They're like, and then I would promise them, we'll go to a park after. And then I met my neighbor across the street, and I was talking with her, and she's in real estate, and she's a realtor. And she said, I have these clients and they're looking for this floor plan. And I'm like, wait a minute. I went across the street. I pulled out the floor plan. I gave it to her. And she's like, oh, my God, you should get into real estate. You know all the new homes at that time.
Yeah.
Back in 98, there was only not like today.
Sure.
But that's how I got into real estate. So.
And you've been in it ever since, 25 years straight? Yeah. So you've seen a lot.
So it's Elsie Reimer's fault.
Oh, tell me, who's Elsie? Elsie, if you're listening, what did Elsie do for you?
She's the one who inspired me to get my real estate license and work with her at that point in time.
Okay, so shout out to Elsie.
Yes,
shout
definitely.
out. How has the Las Vegas market evolved since then? I mean, that was 98. I mean, I'm born and raised, so I know I've seen a few things, but from your perspective, how has the Las Vegas market evolved since that time?
From then till now,
it's
been quite a roller coaster.
Right?
I mean, as a professional in real estate, you have to go with the flow and the needs. I went from working with new home buyers, a few investors from out of state, to during the crash, all cash investors.
Yeah.
I was doing it's rent to owns.
Okay. Yeah.
I changed a few brokers because in real estate, as for your career, you have to go with the flow.
Sure. Right.
But this program that we're talking about today has always been in the back of my mind. I've been working on this website for like 10 years and I keep changing it because the laws keep changing. The language keeps changing. I can't say master bedroom. I have to say primary. So it's exploded.
Right. Right.
The home values have gone through the roof. A 3.2 back then, I think it was like 150.
Yeah.
And now you're lucky if you can get one at 4.
Right.
That's today. Don't quote me because tomorrow can change.
Right. Sure.
It could be 5 or it could be back down to 150.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. And Las Vegas market we've been through a few things. We've learned a few things because of, number one, the demand, and the demand has certainly increased in the last 5-10 years. I mean, it's really
absolutely
more than I've ever seen as a kid growing up here. And with that demand, obviously, bringing prices up. So, but the other thing, the transientness, there's always been a transient town. So you have people coming and going, which obviously affects real estate. So you mentioned the product we're going to talk about today, which I want to get into here in a little bit, which is the HECM for purchase. For those who don't know, the home equity conversion mortgage for purchase, also known as a reverse mortgage for purchase. But before we get into that, what what do you find fulfilling? I know you it's something that you, like you said, you've been looking to get into this. There's obviously something about it that you find intriguing, but first, just working with the clientele, those who are 55 and older. I know you've worked with them in the past. If you could just give me a little insight of what you find fulfilling most about working with the 55 plus community.
The senior community?
Yeah, the senior community.
The active senior community?
Yes, active. Yes.
Never thought I'd be included in that, but now I am.
Right.
I guess it all started when I was working in the bank back east, and during the summer I had to go and I set appointments for the 70-and-a-half-year-olds to determine their life expectancy, what they wanted. I mean, I didn't determine it. It was based on the charts that the IRS had put out at that point in time. And they would have to take a minimum distribution the year they turned 70 and a half. So I would go over all their options. And most of them wanted an immediate annuity. If they bought an immediate annuity for like 10 grand, they got this payment for the rest of their life. If they died tomorrow, the rest was gone. If they lived another 20 years, they would still get that monthly payment. Okay. And they would take that money out of their IRA to satisfy the requirement for the IRS at 70 and a half years old.
Okay.
So meeting all those seniors up and down the Jersey Shore, I mean, oh my God, they gave me hamburgers with raisins in them.
Raisins. Oh.
I mean, all kinds of shots
that a New
of
Jersey
Anisette. Mostly Italian.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it was a trip, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
You know, I had to have lots of cups of coffee before I got back on the Turnpike or the, Garden State Parkway. But, yeah, and sometimes I actually got sick, but I just had fun doing it, and I just listened to them and their needs and things like that. And when I was at an event, I think it was in LA, and I met a friend that is also a mortgage HECM specialist. Mm-hmm. And that's when they first came out with that you could purchase with a HECM.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started doing numbers in my head, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Because then they can take the difference and put it or buy or give it to their kid or do whatever they want. And then they have this house that they can buy that they didn't think they could afford to buy.
Right.
And they never have to make a mortgage payment.
Right. So that got you excited. And
the numbers, yeah.
The numbers, sure.
And I get to help these people.
Right. Right.
And I at this point, I have quite a few friends that I wish they would have listened to me back then.
Sure. We always have those that wish they would have listened, or maybe they come back around and say, hey, I wish I would have listened. Sometimes they don't admit it, but yes. Yeah. So you kind of touched on that. Like, what excites you about working with this particular product, the HECM for Purchase, with this particular demographic, senior clients, which you just said a minute ago? It sounded like when you were younger, back in New Jersey, you just kind of gravitated. They were a lot of fun. You enjoyed their company. Mm-hmm.
I love listening to the stories,
right.
From the old countries and this and that and different cultures and the food. And I'm like, these people are great.
They have a lot of stories to tell, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of wisdom there, a lot of years of life, right?
Right.
It also sounded like you also wanted to help them with their needs. It sounded like you saw their needs and you wanted at that time to help them out. And that's where you were doing the annuities and such. So with this product, what excites you about how this product can work in with what you just said, helping this clientele and
there's so many. It depends on the needs of the senior.
Yeah.
Of the client, I should say. I don't want to stereotype myself.
Yeah, sure.
But it all depends on the needs. I mean, if they want to downsize, why would they put all their eggs in one basket when they have this option?
Yeah.
They can get that same house, but why put all their eggs in one basket? And that's like you pointed out the other day, and I totally concur with you on that one.
Yeah.
They have no liquidity.
Yeah.
Not
being properly diversified, being less liquid. Sure.
exactly. And then there's the ones that, sell their house, and let's say they walk away with 150K.
Yep.
What can you buy for 150K? Nothing.
Depends where.
So
yeah,
they
not
end
much.
up renting low income senior housing, put that money in the bank and use it, and it's gone.
Right. Over time with rental expense,
And especially
rental
if like
increases.
a spouse dies, there goes half this, half
half
their
Social Security.
Exactly.
Yeah, half the income. Yep.
And they could have had a house or a condo or a townhome or something,
Yep.
For that spouse to live in for the rest of their life,
Sure.
and they're all like, no, because I have to leave this for my kids, or what if I need the money and this and that. And then it's a hard sell when they're that old. But now I think the baby boomer generation is ready and more open to other alternatives.
Yeah. So I was just going to ask you that, and you kind of touched on that. The challenges that you see in educating your clients about this product, and how do you see yourself overcoming those hurdles?
I have to really listen to their needs and ask the right questions. And not throw out, this is a reverse mortgage, run. Because the minute you say reverse mortgage, they close up. They don't hear anything I have to say.
Yeah.
So I just ask, well, do you want to do X, Y, and Z, or do you want to just do this?
Yeah. Yeah. As any good interview, you're asking the questions first, listening, and then leading with education and solutions.
Absolutely.
Solutions,
And I just want to note here, I am not a mortgage loan officer, so anything that I say, double check with Rick here, please.
Good disclaimer. What are some of the misconceptions that you have heard from your clients or others about this product, either specifically the HECM for purchase, the H for P, or just reverse mortgage in general?
I don't want a mortgage.
You don't want a mortgage.
Okay, I get that. When I overcome the reverse mortgage, the bank owns your house. When you die, the bank takes your house.
That's a big one, right?
And I don't think they believe me when I tell them otherwise, because then the next thing is, well, I just don't want a mortgage. Okay, you don't want to buy more house and have more money in your pocket, and you never have to pay this mortgage? Well, that's too good to be true.
Too good to be true. I've heard that one a couple of times. Sure.
Yeah. What's the catch?
Yeah. What's the catch? Sure. Sure.
I'm like, well, if Tom Selleck can do it, why can't you? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. And a lot of people don't realize how long it's been in place. They don't realize it's been insured by the federal government since 1989. That's when the reverse mortgages were revamped.
Let's get something.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell a story, because you've been in it a lot longer than I have, where this reverse mortgage, first of all, the name, the connotation is all negative.
Yeah.
Okay. When did it start? When the bank would actually take title to the house, correct? And how many years was that?
Well, this could,
How many years ago?
When was the first type of reverse mortgage created? I mean, this goes years back, to the 60s. There was these types of products that were similar to reverse mortgage that worked like that, but where they were different compared to today's reverse mortgage is that the bank did take title to the home. The bank did share on the ongoing appreciation of the home. So that's where FHA got involved and signed into law in '89 the federally insured reverse mortgage to revamp that product. So obviously there was people saw that, hey, this product looks good on paper. There's some good facets to this product. However, there's some things here that need to be changed. And so therefore FHA stepped in to do that, to ensure that.
Right.
And that product has been in existence since then. There's been a lot of
is the Federal Housing Authority. It's the government.
I mean, when people say, it's a scam or this, I mean, say what you want about the government, but FHA would not have their seal of approval on a product for this long, 1989 to 20, what is that, 35 years,
Right.
if they felt that this was either a disservice to one of our protected classes, senior citizens,
Right.
or if this was being utilized in improper ways continually. Obviously, you're always going to have your bad apples, like in any industry. Whatever industry it is, you're always going to have some that are going to try to take advantage of people.
This is very strictly regulated.
Very strictly regulated,
It is a government program.
Right. It's government insured. So, I mean, it's still, privately lend. A lot of people think it's like that
There were
lenders
scams
don't.
going on back in, I don't know, 08, 09 in Detroit with the investors. They would purchase the properties, give the money to purchase the properties, like, because they were so cheap, 25 grand.
Sure. Yeah.
And they would put it in the people's names.
Yeah.
They got caught doing that. Like there are so many safeguards in place. They check to make sure that you're the primary homeowner.
Yep.
Where did that money come from? How long has it been seasoned? I mean,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm at today. I want to get up to date with the new regulations.
Right. And so therefore leading to what we're saying, this is the way you look to address some of these misconceptions, these concerns that people have, is just leading with, hey, this is the facts. This is the education. This is how this product works. This is how long it's been in existence, et cetera. So that's for us too, for what I do. It's leading with that same type of mentality.
Right.
How do you see this Heck'em for Purchase fitting into like broader retirement planning for seniors? Do you see how this can potentially help people not only buy a house like what we're talking about today, but potentially help them with their retirement savings and having a longer lasting retirement?
Are you talking about the little secret?
Well, I'm talking in general from your perspective, from what you've learned, what you've known about this product. What's your opinion as a real estate agent? Do you think that this could also be a tool to help people have a more long lasting retirement?
Absolutely. All their eggs are not in one basket, okay?
Yeah.
They don't have to make a mortgage payment, but they can make a mortgage payment.
Right. A lot of people don't know
if
that.
they want to put it into the HELOC part of it.
Yeah,
okay?
the line of credit.
The line of credit,
Right.
which is like non-recourse, and you don't have to pay that.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay whatever equity. You're building your equity by depositing money into your line of credit.
Well, your equity's still growing, but the line of credit's increasing your cash flow. But
Right.
you're increasing overall your ability to have more funds,
Right.
which is, I think, where you're going.
And
Yes.
statistically, nationwide, and on my older website, which I am updating my website.
Oh, okay.
It'll be out there soon.
What's the website? Do you have a URL yet? Do we have a website?
SeniorHomeSalesLV.com.
SeniorHomeSalesLV.com. Coming
Correct.
soon.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Coming soon.
Okay.
Where was I going with that? I have like long-term COVID memory, speech impairment
Hey,
here.
you were good. We were just talking about just the product in terms of how you see it possibly helping people with their retirement planning. Not that I know you're not a financial advisor. I'm not asking you from that
Yeah,
perspective.
exactly.
Just from what you've learned, do you think that this could also help people to have more money to last them a longer period of time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On so many different levels. Not only, okay, so if it's $100,000 house, which it's not, just for easy math here.
Yeah.
And they put down $65,000. They have $35,000 in equity. They can do whatever they want. Now, there is a limit on the loan amount. What was it? $1,149,000.
On the home value. Yeah, on the home value.
On the home value.
Yeah, you're right. $1,149,000 and
So
change.
typically speaking, it was about 60% if you were 62 that you would have to, just rule of thumb,
Yeah.
right? Now it's up to what, 63, 65%
And that's
approximately.
and let the viewers know. I mean, that's constantly changing because
Yeah.
interest rates play a factor in the down payment percentages. Like any mortgage,
Right.
interest rates are a factor. So with the reverse mortgage, those down payment percentages are constantly changing because of, and obviously we're in an environment where interest rates are kind of yo-yoing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. No, we're not going to get into that.
Maybe January.
What role do you think that real estate professionals like yourself can help seniors in making more informed decisions about how they can buy a home?
They have to educate themselves on this product. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Because there is more and more people, including myself, live in a multi-generational home.
Okay.
Okay. My dad, God bless him, he's 85 years old.
Okay.
All right. I'm 62. I don't care.
Yeah. Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, right. Now, let's just say my daughter, Danielle, moved in with her husband and kids. Like,
Yeah.
we all lived under the same roof.
Right.
Because a lot of people, we don't believe, they want to aging in place. They don't want to go to a nursing home or, God forbid, a nursing home or, assisted living. Some do, especially if their spouse is alive and they, then they'll move to an active senior 55 plus, or they'll move to independent living and then assisted living after that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that no, they don't want to leave their family. They want to take care of their elderly parents. So this would help them to stay at home and have their family live with them.
Right.
Because there's no mortgage payment unless they want to add to it,
Right.
When that person passes, they have 6 months. Well, I always said 12 months, which I was corrected. It's 6 months to sell the house or pay off the loan with an
Plus
extension.
extensions, right.
2 extensions up to 90 days each.
Right,
So it's about a year
That's right.
on
You
the
got it.
circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if the house is upside down, if the interest, it compounds monthly on the mortgage, as it would on the HELOC as well, just so you know. If it's upside down, it's federally insured. So the government, if whatever they sell the house for, the insurance that you pay for will pay the difference.
Yeah.
The kids, the heirs, nobody has to foot in a dime for the difference of the mortgage.
Yeah. And most people probably don't know that. So
Yeah, they don't. They're afraid of that.
And even agents, going back to, speaking to your fellow agents here in Vegas about, how
they look
they
at me
can-
like I have 3 eyeballs.
they look, yeah. Is
Yeah,
that right? Why?
they're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's a big misconception. If it's the mortgage is more than what the home value is at the time and you have to sell the property, it's no big deal because the insurance will pay for it.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right. Right.
You're not leaving your kids anything, but you've lived mortgage free for how many years?
yeah. If it
And
goes upside
typically,
down.
if it goes upside
Right,
down, and
which-
typically the numbers that I did back then, a few years ago, it was 3%, not 4%, 3% annual increase across the board nationwide in equity.
You're talking about appreciation, home appreciation.
Home
Yeah.
appreciation.
Okay.
And then it was, I believe, I was using like 5.35% at that point in time. And it would take approximately 20 years for it to catch up before it would go like this. And chances are the 3% that I put in the lesser.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, years
I
back.
didn't want to,
They've retooled it now where there's a lot more equity in the back end.
yeah.
But from a fiduciary duty as a real estate agent, I mean, of course, you guys aren't loan officers, right? You guys, that's not your lane, right? But from a fiduciary duty, when you have a client that comes to you who, let's say, is of age, 62 or older, or is looking in a age-restricted community, I imagine that before they, quote unquote, get in the car to, drive around, look at houses, one of the first things an agent is asking, well, do you have a pre-approval letter? How are we planning to buy this house?
Absolutely.
And at that point, not again that it's your job, but you are on the front line. Agents are on the front lines with home buyers more than mortgage companies and loan officers are, from an educational standpoint, do you think that it's within the scope of the agent to say, hey, did you know? Have you looked into
I think
HECM for purchase? You might be of age.
Yeah.
It's for people who, are 62 and older. It might be of benefit to you. Do you think that that's in your scope as a real estate agent?
Absolutely. It's part of our fiduciary responsibilities that are, first thing we have them do is sign a duties owed, what we owe them. And if I have knowledge of another product out there and I neglected to say anything, let's just say I was biased against it.
Okay.
And I didn't say anything, that's an option that you're not giving to your clients to go and investigate and see,
Yeah.
And the first thing, besides the fiduciary responsibilities, as outlined on the duties owed form, we used to be able to know years ago, there was 3 types of, it was like cash is king. Everybody knows cash is king.
Yeah.
Okay. FHA, conventional, VA.
Yeah.
And then maybe some owner will carries or wraparounds or, if you want to get creative. But in order to write up a contract, we need to know what these loan products are.
Yeah. So you're going to have some knowledge, some understanding.
Yeah, but we can't act or give,
Of course.
We can just say, well,
Right.
I heard this and, here's this piece of paper or, please go talk to your loan officer.
Right. Someone who specializes. What, do you think there's biases with real estate agents today here in the Valley about the HECM for purchase or reverse mortgages in general?
I can't say they're biases because I really stopped talking to other agents about it.
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm like, well, because back then they were looking at me the same way clients would look at me, like, well, what is this? And, oh no, that's, I'm not going there. No, we're just going to stick with the conventional,
Yeah.
or my client has cash. So no, we don't,
Right.
But now I think that us baby boomers who are now entering this 62 plus, 55 plus, are more educated in diversifying the funds. But a few short years ago, I would say the majority of the people are still old school.
Yeah.
You do what you were told, period. You don't look outside the box. You don't look at other opportunities. You're not in the phone book, so no, I'm not going to go with you.
Yeah, right, sure.
Part of the reason I switched my license over to Remax was because somebody said to me, "You're not in the phone book." I never heard of like one of my old brokers, and I don't want to say it, but
how many years back was this?
actually, was it maybe 2014?
Okay.
Yeah, because I was dealing with seniors and trying to, so yeah. But now there is no such thing as a phone book.
Right. I can't remember the last time I saw one.
I'm not that old.
No, right. We're not trying to allude to that.
The people
right.
I was associating with would say,
Sure.
pass those comments. And I'm like, oh my God.
So you're obviously an agent here in Vegas that gets this, understands the HECM for purchase, has taken the time to understand, number one. I mean, that's where everything starts. It's taking the time to educate, understand it, and then to the point where you now are seeing the product for what it is and taking it a step further where you're actually looking to incorporate it into your business, right?
Yeah. I want this to be my niche, period.
So how do you plan to introduce this into your business and make this a part of your business? How do you, without giving any
for the coming
secrets?
Year?
I don't want you to give any trade secrets here, but how do you plan to put this in part of your business, and how do you plan to introduce this to the consumer?
Okay. To go back to your other question first about other agents.
Yes.
I think I get it and I got it because I was in the banking industry. I understand how compounding interest. I worked with seniors.
Yeah.
And I saw, my eyes lit up. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Other agents that are agents, like you come from a financial background, so you got it.
Yep.
Okay. Other agents or mortgage loan officers don't get it because, and I'm not saying that there's anything negative about it. It's just that they didn't come from that kind of background.
Sure.
So they don't have that kind of education.
You're right.
You know, now getting back to what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm going to get my website cleaned up and running. I've been working on it on and off for 8 to 10 years now.
Okay.
You know, I just been going with the flow with real estate and working with first time home buyers, VA, cash, things, you know, normal real estate transactions.
Okay.
And by the way, this one can go pretty fast. You can close like in less than a month. It's not a big deal.
Oh, yeah. There's been
it's not a big deal.
misconceptions.
Yeah,
Depending the lender you're working with, those who don't specialize, they will fumble into 45, 60 days. But
yeah, and as far as when you have to sell the house, the only thing that really holds it up is probate. It's the same as any other loan. It's not like, it's going to take forever to sell the house. It's too complicated. It had a reverse mortgage. So what? If it had a conventional mortgage, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's the probate that really messes that, you know, gives it that misconception.
Sure.
So, yeah. And the other thing, I guess I'm going to have to learn social media advertising. I'm not into social media advertising, but I guess I will take my website and I will explain, you know, how it works and how it's benefited certain clientele, because it's different types of buyers, different kinds of needs that they're looking at.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And when you actually sit down with a 62 plus prospect,
exactly.
how do you intend to kind of weave this into your consultations?
I'm just going to say these are your options. And did you know about this one?
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Which a lot of agents, as simple as that sounds, believe me, a lot of agents are not doing that. A lot of agents are not showing them or educating them about, and again, not that agents are mortgage loan officers, that's not what we're saying, but to say, hey, did you know? You had these other options. Not sure if you've spoken to your loan officer about this yet, or someone who specializes in the HECM product, but did you know this is available potentially to you? You might want to look into this. There's not many agents that I know of, and I apologize to any of my agents out there in Vegas who are doing it. Great that you are doing it, but I think we need more and more agents to put that in the fold and as part of their consultations.
Part of that is the other mortgage options or the other financing options that are kind of difficult to explain to your average client. And most agents will shy away from that and just go with what's easy peasy and quick, and they won't go the extra mile. I mean, I had a listing that was a consignment, you know, not consignment. What's the word I'm looking for? Assignee, an assignee.
Yeah. Okay.
Most agents don't want to get involved in that. It's, you know, they think, double escrow and things of that nature. As long as everybody is above board and everything is disclosed, I don't see a problem. I did one, and I go out of my way for my clients.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, that one, I had to get involved with the Nevada Department of Transportation.
Okay.
Because there was an easement, and the easement was put there, which encroached on the property. The easement was put there like back in 1971 when they were building the 95. And they were going to put a park, and they never put the park because they expanded the 95 and that easement. So to get that removed, and it was, you know, like I said, I'm not afraid to learn.
Right.
I'll ask.
Right.
If I don't know, I'll ask.
Right.
People that know me know that. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Always. Right. That's right.
No is not an answer.
Well, yeah, and that's a great point. You know, so many times we don't know what we don't know, and we stop right there with that. And especially with this product, there's a lot of that. You know, that people just stop because they just don't know what they don't know. Any thoughts that you want to leave us with today? Anything that we didn't touch on that we should touch on?
Well, when we were at this class yesterday, you enlightened me as far as if you're going to buy $1 million home, and how you can increase what you're going to leave your nest egg tax-free to your heirs.
Yeah.
That is what I would like to learn more about.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have the proper vernacular for that, and I can deliver it flawlessly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, certainly what we're talking about is just purchasing a home, not putting all what a lot of retirees like to do for the sake of not having a mortgage payment to potentially give themselves more security, and or sometimes they can't qualify for a conventional mortgage. So therefore, a lot of these buy-side transactions with people who are 62 or older are cash for those two reasons.
Exactly.
And you're putting all those eggs in the real estate basket, you know, not properly diversifying yourself in retirement, which what a lot of retirement researchers and educators state, one of the most important things in retirement is you got to have liquidity, access to liquidity. So certainly being able to buy that same house that you were going to put all your cash into,
500,000,
whatever
yeah.
the price is. You said $1 million, all your,
Yeah.
if it's $1 million or
$1 million,
500,000, whatever it might be,
yeah.
you're going to put all those eggs in there and you're in retirement and this is your primary residence for the long term or your home, that your forever home, as some people say.
Right.
You got to start thinking, is that the best place to put my money versus maybe only making a one-time payment anywhere from, depending on your age, 40 to 60%, thereabouts, and being able to retain that other portion of cash and now hand it to your financial advisor.
Right.
Let that money work for you.
400,000.
Whatever that amount is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let that, real estate's still going to do what real estate's going to do. Home equity's still going to potentially go up.
Right.
But now you've got this other portion of cash that you have better control over, hopefully with the right help from like an advisor that now can put that money to work. And now we've got a retirement savings account that's working for us.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is the best way for people to get a hold of you right now? I know you're working on your website, but what's the best way for people if they want to get a hold of you? Yeah.
Honestly, please text me that you saw me on Rick's show here.
Okay.
Because every time I answer the phone, it's somebody trying to sell me something or to vote a certain way. Okay. So
there's big uptick right now on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I get a lot of phone calls about Medicare because I have my dad. So
Yeah.
text me. You saw me on Rick's show, 702-523-3128. Give me your name. I'll call you back as soon as I can. Or you can email me at cheri.foisy@gmail. It's CHERI.Foisy, F like Frank, OI, S like Sam, Y @gmail.com.
Excellent.
And in a week, hopefully 2 weeks, the latest,
Yeah.
my website,
Great.
seniorhomesalesLV.com.
Excellent. Cheri, thank you so much for
You're
coming on
welcome.
the show. If you have any questions for Cheri Foisy, reach out to her, as she just stated, or you can reach out to me as well. Send me a message. And of course, as always, if you have any questions pertaining to retirement mortgages and how that could be applicable to you, reach out to me directly. Thank you for tuning in, and watch out for our next upcoming episode on Retirement with Rick.